Hello, my name is Kat Little and I'm the Director General for Public Spending at Her Majesty's Treasury. An important part of our role in the Treasury is ensuring spending decisions support the government's objectives and deliver value for money. The recent spending review placed a renewed focus on the outcomes that would be achieved for the money invested in public services, with a set of priority outcomes agreed for each government department. Going forward, it is critical that projects and programmes establish and evidence a clear golden thread from government priorities to the development of strategies and business cases. To support teams to do this, we've worked closely with the Infrastructure and Projects Authority to publish a new tool, the Project or Programme Outcome Profile, or POP tool. This is part of our Green Book guidance. POP is already used across a range of departments and is supporting a number of major priorities on the government's major projects portfolio. Project delivery professionals across government are telling us that POP provides a framework for teams to explore how their project or programme will support the delivery of government's priority outcomes. Whether your business case is for a programme within a strategic portfolio or a project within a programme, using the POP tool can help you to strengthen your business case by clearly articulating how the proposal supports government's strategic priorities, work closely between government departments by identifying how your proposal contributes to the priorities of other government departments, and embed outcome-based decision-making throughout delivery and plan for monitoring and evaluation from early in the business case process. This video will provide you with an introduction to the POP tool and how it can support your team to write better business cases.
Welcome to the POP walkthrough video. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll take you through the tool step by step. At the end of the video, you should feel confident enough to begin using the tool on your own project or programme. So what is involved in completing a POP? The POP tool involves two main steps. In step 1, you will identify the outputs or outcomes that your project or programme is seeking to achieve, and you will assess how these align to your department's priority outcomes and those of other government departments. In step 2, you will select relevant metrics for each output and outcome identified in step 1, and you will use these to estimate the specific contributions that your project or programme will make to each outcome. Once you've completed these steps, POP includes two profile templates you can use to present this information in your business case and to share with those with an interest in the project or programme. For example, with those on the project or programme team or decision makers. The tool has already been piloted by projects and programmes across government. We will be walking you through the tool using a case study from the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund, or the SHDF for short. This example is from the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, also known as BEIS, but the POP tool can be applied to a wide range of projects and programmes in any government department. The SHDF POP case study we use in this video is a representation of a POP at an early stage in the programme's development. The SHDF is a 10-year programme, so the team will revisit and update the POP on a regular basis in line with the business case. The final POP for the programme will therefore be different to the one we use in this video. Take a moment to read the information on your screen. This provides some background on the SHDF programme. When you're ready to get started, let's open the tool, go to the cover sheet and type in the headline details of your project or programme. These include the project or programme name, the sponsoring department, and details of the SRO and the person completing the tool. You'll also find an instructions sheet, which provides you with further guidance about how to use the tool. Now we've filled in the cover page and read the instructions, let's jump into step 1. Step 1 is about understanding how your project or programme aligns to your department's priority outcomes and those of other government departments. This step is recommended for all projects and programmes at any business case stage. There are 4 levels linking individual project outputs or programme outcomes to department outcomes. These are department outcomes, which link to predefined outcome ambitions agreed by each government department. Portfolio outcomes, if you are working across a portfolio of projects or programmes. Programme outcomes, if you're working on a programme, and project outputs, if your business case is for a standalone project. If you're writing a business case for a programme, you do not need to complete the project outputs level. Likewise, if you're writing a business case for a standalone project, you do not need to complete programme outcomes. The portfolio outcomes level is also optional and may represent the objectives for a non-departmental public body, a geographical region, or a sector. The first action in Step 1 is to identify your project outputs and/or programme outcomes. We will now show you how to complete POP Step 1 using the SHDF case study. Because the SHDF is a programme, we will use the Programme Outcomes column. Typically, there will be up to 5 or 6 core outputs or outcomes that provide the rationale for undertaking the project or programme, as well as additional outputs or outcomes that are likely consequences of the project or programme but may not be part of the core rationale. In the case of the SHDF, there are 8 outcomes, 6 of which are core. We then use the column Type to specify whether each output or outcome is core or additional. Remember not to confuse outputs with outcomes. Projects typically deliver outputs, which are the changes in the level or quality of a public service. For example, more successful cardiovascular operations carried out. Programmes typically deliver outcomes, which are the consequences to society of a change in a public service. For example, changes in cardiovascular surgery, which lead to an improved life expectancy. Now we have the option of mapping these programme outcomes to portfolio outcomes. Portfolios deliver strategic objectives. In some cases, it may be helpful to include portfolio outcomes to link project outputs or programme outcomes to department outcomes. In this SHDF example, we will map the SHDF programme outcomes directly to department outcomes. To do this, we go to the column Department Outcomes and use the drop-downs to map each project output or programme outcome to the most relevant department outcomes. For example, we have identified that the SHDF programme outcome, reduction of carbon dioxide emissions due to social housing, aligns to the BEIS department outcome, reduce UK greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050. A second example is where a programme outcome aligns to that of another government department. Through the POP tool, the SHDF programme team was able to identify that the SHDF programme outcome, a reduction in fuel poverty in social housing, as well as 2 other programme outcomes, aligned to an outcome for another government department. This was one of the Department of Levelling Up, Housing and Communities, or DLUC, outcomes. A reduction in fuel poverty due to more energy-efficient homes aligned well to DLUC's department outcome of more, better quality, safer, greener and more affordable homes. Now we have completed that, our last action in step 1 is to group our outcomes using themes. These include economy, society, environmental, health, security, and global. It's not necessary to include all of the themes in one POP. 2 or 3 themes are likely to be sufficient for most projects or programs. If we do not wish to use themes, we can also leave this column blank. These are the themes we have selected for the SHDF example. That's it. You've completed step 1. To create a visual representation for inclusion in your business case, go to the sheet titled Profile 1. Use the drop-downs to complete the profile based on the information you provided in step 1. Make sure you are happy with the information you've provided, and then delete the blank rows and columns as you see fit. Now we've completed step 1, we can jump into step 2. Step 2 is about identifying and using metrics to define the specific contribution that a project or program will make to the delivery of each outcome identified in step 1. You'll notice the information you provided in step 1 is automatically populated in the first column of the step 2 sheet. To help you understand step 2, we'll walk you through the example we have already completed for the SHDF. In this first section, you can see the project outputs are blank. This is because we have not completed project outputs as part of step 1, given that the SHDF example is a program. We can see that for each program outcome identified in step 1, we have identified between 1 and 3 metrics. We then need to define the specific impact that the project or program will have on each metric to determine how much it will contribute to the delivery of each department outcome. When specifying metrics, you should consider how accurately the metrics capture the outcome that the project or program is expected to deliver. How feasible it will be to monitor over time and to determine the extent to which changes can be attributed to the project or program. The estimated impact column is about specifying the time and scale in which your project or program contributes to achieving an outcome. For example, depending on the take-up of the SHDF program, it could lead to thousands of homes improving their energy efficiency ratio, EER, to category C. We have not been specific in the scale of contribution towards metrics from the SHDF in this example because these were still in development for this program at the time of filming. In your POP, you would seek to estimate the specific contributions of your project or program to your chosen metrics. The third section below is for portfolio outcomes if you are writing a business case for a portfolio. The fourth and fifth sections in step 2 relate to department outcomes. Again, you'll notice the first column is pre-populated information taken from step 1. The metrics columns in these sections, however, are drop-downs, providing you with a choice of metrics that have already been agreed with the relevant departments for each of their priority outcomes. If you scroll to the right of the sheet, you'll also see there is a column for custom metrics if you require. Once you've completed this, go to Profile 2 to complete the summary of Step 2. Here is the completed Profile 2 for the SHDF case study. Profile 2 is designed to provide a visual representation of the Step 2 of POP for inclusion in your business case. So there you have it. Here's a short recap. Step 1. Align your project or program to government priorities by identifying the project outputs or program outcomes and exploring which government priority outcomes they will support. Step 2. Take these project outputs or program outcomes and identify the best available metrics to measure progress against. Consider a project or program's specific contribution to those outcomes and think about both time and scale to really get to the heart of what your project or program can achieve. Use the profile templates to visualize the information you've put into the tool and use these as part of your business case and for stakeholder engagement. Lastly, remember to revisit your POP and update it to ensure it is consistent with each iteration of your business case. To find further details and guidance on how to make the most of the POP tool, go to the link in the caption below. You can also contact the IPA at pop@ipa.gov.uk with any feedback you have on the tool and if you can't find the answers you're looking for in the guidance. Congratulations on completing this training video and good luck with your next business case.